Maps in JavaScript are just data structures. They're similar to objects in the sense that they have key value pairs. So a key needs to be unique and a value can be any data type. We're going to use the example of a library that needs to store books. So the library just wants to store the ID of the book and also the book's title along with it. To create a map, we can just use the new map keyword. So if we say const bookmap equals new map, we now have a map called bookmap that we're going to use throughout the whole video. Just like most other data structures, maps come with a bunch of methods that let us mess with the values that are being stored. So the first function is the set function. This just lets us add things to our map. So if we wanted to add a book to our map called Kwaku's Revenge, we could say bookmap.set id001 Kwaku's Revenge. So in our map, we have now stored the book Kwaku's Revenge with the key id001. And of course, you can do the ID system however you want to. I've just done it like this. The get function gets a value using the key provided. So assuming our book is still stored in this map, if we did bookmap.get id001, it would return Kwaku's Revenge. The has function checks if the map contains the key that we provided, and it returns true or false. So if we wanted to see if our map contained a book with the key id001, we could do bookmap.has id001, and it would return true because we set an entry with that key in our map earlier. The delete function deletes the value using the key provided. If we wanted to delete Kwaku's Revenge, we could do bookmap.delete id001, and now if we try to do bookmap.has id001, it's going to return false because we just deleted this book from our map. The keys function returns an array with all the keys in the map. Once it's an iterator, we can call the .next function or loop through the values using for each. So if we added Kwaku's Revenge back to the map, and then we also added the highly anticipated sequel Kwaku's Prosperity, and then we did const keys equals bookmap.keys, we now store all the book keys inside this variable called keys. So if we did console.log keys.next value, it would return Kwaku's Revenge. And then if we did it again, it would move on to the next book, so it would return Kwaku's Prosperity. So as mentioned before, we can also use the for each function to loop through the iterator. So if we did keys.forEach key console.log key, it would return every single key inside of our map. If we had another book called Kwaku's Trip to India, and then did bookmap.forEach key pair, and then did console.log key pair, it's going to return every single book along with their respective key and title. The values function returns an array with all the values in the map. So assuming that we have all three books still stored in the map, bookmap.values is going to return the names of the three books without the ID. The entries function returns a new map iterator that allows us to go through each value in the map. So the entries function is similar to the keys function, except we're given both the key and the value. So assuming that we have all three books still stored in the map, performing .next like we did before, it's going to output all three of the books' IDs along with their titles. As well as this, if we want to turn the entries into array, we can do the following. And this stores an array of all of our books inside of entries. Finally, the size function is a get method. It just returns the number of entries in the map. So in our context, it gets the number of books stored in our map, which is 3.